Welcome to part 3, grant writing for schools. We're going to talk about writing goals and objectives. And the disclaimer, funding for this project was provided through a grant from Delta Dental of Arkansas in collaboration with the School-Based Health Alliance of Arkansas and Healthy Active Arkansas. The information and opinions expressed by the author in this presentation do not necessarily represent the official views of Delta Dental, the School-Based Health Alliance of Arkansas, and Healthy Active Arkansas. All grant applications will require you to write goal and objective. A goal is a general statement regarding the intention of the desired outcome or success. Goal is what is the big broad plan that you have in place? What is it? The thing that you want to accomplish. Your intended outcome. The objectives are how are you going to meet the goal through different activities. Measurable descriptions of how the learning will affect the learner in meeting the desired outcomes of success. Objectives show how activities will meet the needs of the goal. And they're two distinct things, but sometimes people get these two confused. A goal is broad, like I said, and it's a description of a destination or result. What is going to be accomplished? You may have more than one goal in your application, but you're not going to have too many. A couple of examples of goals that I'm going to use through this part. One goal, to reduce the number of adolescent STD rates in XYZ. And one goal is to increase access to water for school-age children. And we're going to use these two goals to write our objectives. So an objective is how we're going to measure our progress that's needed to get where we need to go. So the best way to do that is to use SMART objectives. You can Google SMART objectives and you'll get all kind of information, but you also will Google SMART objectives and SMART goals will come up. And in my years of training with CDC and all the professional development that they provided us, there are not SMART goals, there are SMART objectives. So, and you'll find someone that will argue that point, and that's okay. But I just feel like objectives are SMART. Goals are not. Goals shouldn't be that measurable in time frame. And so I'm going to focus on SMART objectives for this. And here is SMART objectives broken down, and this is a good tool to use when you're writing your objectives. SMART objectives should be clearly state what's going to be achieved, who's going to do it, what's going to happen, how it's going to be accomplished. So you've got your who, what, and how started. Is it measurable? Can you measure a level of success? Can you measure something that was accomplished? It has to be measurable in order for it to be successful. Achievable. A lot of people try and write objectives and they're so big and lofty that there's no way that they're going to be accomplished or achieved. So be careful that you don't get too lofty in your goals and your objectives, because we want you to succeed, and sometimes small baby steps is the best way to go. So make sure what you're going to do in your objectives is achievable. Is it realistic? And that you can achieve it. Is it relevant? Is this objective and the activities you have selected for this objective, is it relevant to your overall goal? Time bound. There should be time frame included in when this will be accomplished. This will help set deadlines to be met. And is the deadline realistic? So here's an example of an objective for the first goal that I showed you. So that it is pretty lengthy objective, but it still will cover the stuff that we talked about. So let's go through this. Who is responsible? Well, the HIV coordinator is going to be responsible for this objective. What's going to happen or what's going to be accomplished or achieved? Well, we're going to increase the capacity of stakeholders and whatnot to implement pregnancy prevention information curricula and up to 5 professional development opportunities. So that's what's going to be achieved. We're going to do some training and we're going to provide 5 PD opportunities. And that's how it's going to be achieved. Is it measurable? Yes. 5 professional development opportunities. That's you can measure if you've done 5 or up to 5 professional. Maybe you've only done 4. So if you have your agendas for those professional development opportunities, you have your sign-in sheets, you have your registration sheets, that's documentation that you met your objective and it was completed, along with evaluations for the professional development. So that can be measured. Also, increasing their capacity, that's done with pre and post testing. What was their knowledge gain and their skill gain from before they had it to after they had the training. You can also get some measurement from students' knowledge and skills by once the curriculum is being implemented into the school district, you do a pre and post test with your students to see if they moved from beginning to the desired outcome. So that's another form of measurement that you can use included in the objective. Is it relevant? Yes, because the goal said to increase the capacity to reduce the STD rates. In order to do that, we have to increase the capacity of learning for students and teachers to be able to teach the students. So yes, it does. It is relevant, and it is time bound by July 14th. Be careful not to put your time frame too close to the actual intended. Give yourself some time to make sure that something doesn't happen, and things happen in, with weather and everything else that might have to push it back. So it's okay to extend it for a couple months just to make sure that it's completed, but by giving a time frame, it's done. And you can show that it was done by July, whatever. Here's another objective with regards to the goal with the water station. Okay, so who's going to be responsible? The coordinator, responsible for the grant. What's going to happen or what's going to be done? They're going to secure grant funds to purchase water filling stations so that they can increase that capacity for water. And how's it going to be accomplished? They're going to purchase water filling stations for 4 school buildings. Is it relevant? Yes, because they're going to increase access to water for students and individuals. So it is relevant to the goal. Time frame by August 2017. Is this achievable? Yes, it's achievable because when they get the grant, they can do the necessary work to get it implemented. So this is a doable objective. Achievable objectives. Ooh, you need to ask yourself, is it achievable or not? Can we really do this? Can we do this in the 9 months, 10 months, 12 months that we have this grant? If you have 12 months to do a grant, that's pretty good because most of the time you've got about 8 or 9 months to implement it and then do your progress reports and follow up. So can you do this in the short amount of time you have? Are there enough resources to accomplish this task? Is there enough money available? Have we asked for enough money for the training supplies and the meeting space and the resources? Have we asked for enough money to purchase the water fountains? Do we have enough money to pay for someone to install the water fountains? Is there enough time to do this? Do we have enough time to put on 3 or 4 workshops in the course of the 9 or 10 months? Do we have enough time to secure the water fountains and get them installed in time before the end of the school year or the end of the grant? Do we have enough staff we access staff? Can we access enough staff, get enough staff to come to professional development opportunities? Do we have the staff to install the water fountains? Do we have access to the target population? Will these teachers that we train in the curriculum, will they go back and have access to the appropriate students, or will they not? Will the water fountains being installed in the school district, are they being installed in buildings where there's students or not? How can I show success? Is this measurable? Can we show the registration sheets and the sign-in sheets and the evaluations and the pre and post test? Can we show a needs assessment that showed the kids were not drinking out of the water fountain and they're not going to drink out of the water fountain? And now with the new water fountains installed, the counters are showing an increase in water access. Are expectations too high? Are we asking for too many teachers to be trained? Are we asking for too many students to drink out of the water fountain? Is this realistic in the time frame? These are awesome questions you need to ask yourself when you're writing the grant, because you don't want to put too many high expectations on what you're trying to do. Think small. I know that's not encouraging to some people. I like to think big, but you have to remember about the baby steps. And these achievable questions, these tasks here will help you decide if this is going to be appropriate for implementation in the district. So the next part we're going to talk about is data and how data can really help influence your grant writing.